Great shows affect us emotionally. But when we talk about most shows and movies, we only talk about the plot and the character developments or the scenery. You don't hear a lot of discussion about the emotions and the life lessons we learn from them. Great stories impact us emotionally. Now, I wanted to talk about the show My Hero Academia. And I'm talking about the show, the anime itself, because honestly, I haven't read the manga. Now, before we proceed, major spoilers up ahead. If you haven't seen or read any of this, this is your warning. My Hero Academia is a story about kids training to be superheroes. I wanted to focus on one character, All Might. He is the number one superhero of the show. He is the Superman equivalent in their world. He is, as he states, the symbol of peace and justice. Now he's granted this power called All for One, and it's fading very quickly, and he knows it. He has the power, though, to pass on his ability to another person. This is a very unique power because it gives the user the ability to transfer their powers to another person. But the power must be transferred before it fades from that person or the person dies. So All Might has to pass on his ability. And he finds his successor to pass the power on to a very heroic acting kid named Midori. But he finds that this kid needs a little guidance. And in addition, we're introduced to All Might's weaker alter ego. When All Might temporarily runs out of power, we see his alter ego, and we learn that his power is fading quickly when we see this alter ego. Midway through season 3, in episode 48 called The Symbol of Peace, All Might faces his counterpart and arch nemesis All for One, which can easily be confused for his ability One for All. Trust me, I got confused at first too. Now, when he fights his arch nemesis is trying to take over the world. Typical villainous stuff. And in this battle, the villain notices that All Might's power is starting to fade. The villain also notices that All Might must have passed his power on to the kid Midori. And because of that, he knows All Might is losing. But All Might affirms that he is going to teach his successor about being a hero. And in one final epic attack called the United States of Smash, he says goodbye to his nemesis. But after that, he silently whispers goodbye to his power, One for All. Well, All Might is a very confident and proud superhero. You see it in his posture, his upright pose, his puffed chest, his shoulders are high, his arms akimbo and propped wide. His smile is huge and it's glowing confidence. He's proud of his ability to help others. He's repeatedly stated in the show that he is the symbol for peace and justice. In contrast, his alter ego is a weaker and skinnier person with sharp, angular features. His shoulders are slumping, there are bags under his eyes, his cheeks are sunken in, his clothes are sagging, and he's always got a frown. It's an unconfident reflection of who he is. He's also seen hiding in the crowds with his alter ego. So when he faces his nemesis with the final use of his power, he also has to face the reality that he can no longer be the superhero he's proud to be. And in the final whisper, you feel the payoff when the conflict is resolved by defeating his enemy. You also feel the emotional conflict resolved when he has the will to continue to live and to continue teaching. This is one of the most impactful scenes of media for me ever. And you realize it because there's a physical and an emotional element to it. The best stories of any media have a physical and emotional conflict. And this scene isn't any different. This scene has a physical battle between two strong opponents. It also adds an emotional crisis to it. All Might's identity is so strongly linked to his superhero persona. He's proud of it, and he's good at it. He finds purpose in it. This is a big contrast to his alter ego, which is a regular man who's even embarrassed to be identified in public. When he faces his arch nemesis, not only does he face a physical battle of strength, but an emotional battle of identity. He knows his power is coming to an end. So in this battle, when the enemy realizes All Might has given away his power to Midori, the enemy feels like he's won that battle. But All Might says he will continue living, and he realizes he's not just a symbol. His duty isn't just to pass on his powers, but it's to pass on his knowledge and to train students on how to become a hero. This is his new life mission. And when he delivers the final blow with an increasing grunt, he says goodbye to his arch nemesis, one for all. This translates also into an increase in strength and will. He wants to push through and continue living so he can train his successor. And after the music fades, he whispers solemnly goodbye to his power. And it's a tragic goodbye because we know he has to say goodbye to not only his powers, but to his identity. His identity is so linked to this one aspect of his life that saying goodbye to that is devastating and traumatizing for him. But he finds resolve in finding purpose. Now, there's a lesson in life purpose driving you to continue living. But I wanted to focus on the identity philosophy in this. You can't identify yourself with one aspect of your life. You must diversify your identity at some point in your life. You don't have to be the best at all of them. You could be a great parent and a great spouse and a great friend, but you could be an okay worker, an okay community activist, an okay volunteer, an okay artist. If you identify yourself as a hard worker one day and find out that you get fired, or you find out that you physically can't do what you love because of an injury, you will be severely traumatized with that identity crisis. And because you've lost your identity, you'll feel lost yourself. And it's hard to find your way back from that. I know, I've been there. I know that it's hard when you've identified yourself as a great friend and lose that friend the next day. I've felt being a great worker only to be passed on and unappreciated. It feels like you're lost and you jump identities. You're going to jump into another identity until you realize you're just going through the motions. And that's what's great about being a Renaissance man. The great Renaissance, like Michelangelo or Leonardo, and I'm not talking about the Ninja Turtles, they were great at painting and sculpting. But they also studied multiple areas like science, religion, poetry, and architecture. The lesson in this isn't to learn as much as you can about everything. It's to diversify yourself as a person. And that's what makes you the best person you could possibly be. Being a balanced person provides stability for your identity. And that's the lesson I got from this. That's the lesson I wanted to share. Being the best person you could possibly be means providing balance in your life. So until next time, guys.